Namaste, hello and welcome to our course classroom. Today we will teach the subject accountancy and chapter number 2, and our topic of discussion today would be basic accounting terms. That means for the beginners they must know the basic accounting terms to get hold of further things in accountancy. So today let's begin with basic accounting terms. Today we will discuss approx 25 basic accounting terms which every account student must know in order to proceed further. So first is what is transaction? So first we will learn that what is transaction, which is the basis of everything which will come further. Transaction is nothing but it is exchange of money, goods and or services. Very simple. That means which involves money, transaction. Then types of goods in which it is being dealt with. And the last is services, the type of services which are being given in exchange of money. So this is basically the simple definition of transaction. So let us see what are the examples of transactions. The example may be, say, purchase of goods and sale of goods. So in purchase of goods, what is happening? The concern is buying goods and in return it is providing money to the seller. So there is a transaction. In sale also the same thing. The seller here is the company or the firm. He is selling products and in exchange he is getting the money. So that is transaction. That is any monetary event. What is event? We will come later. There are two types of transactions. Transactions can be two types. What are they? One is cash transaction, another is credit transaction. So the two types of transactions are cash transactions and credit transactions. So what is the major difference between that? Major difference is in cash transaction, the amount in cash transactions, the amount is transacted immediately. That means immediately the transaction is taken place. That means purchase or sales. I am buying some goods and paying the money there and then. Selling goods, getting the money there and then. So that is immediate transactions or cash transactions. And credit transaction means settled at a later date. That means I am purchasing something and I am telling the seller that I am giving you 50%. Or maybe the full sum after a certain period of time. That is also transactions, but at a later date that transaction will happen. So that is what is known as credit transaction. We will come later on cash sale, credit sale. So these are the basic things which you must know first to understand those things. So this is the transactions part. Next is, as I have told, a transaction is a monetary event. So what is an event? Event is occurrence or happening as a result of transaction. So what is event? It is the result of transaction. Suppose some transaction is being held, like we are purchasing something or selling something. It involves some cost price. Then from cost price what we do? Sales minus cost price is equal to profit. So that profit is that event of transaction which is suppose buying and selling. So an example of event may be gross profit or net profit. So event is an occurrence or happening of as a result of transaction. So that is an event. Like we have various types of events in our school, inter-college events, inter-football events. So like that only, those events are the occurrence, same thing, but it is in the financial tone, like it is the occurrence or happening as a result of transaction. So that is what is known as event, say gross profit or net profit. Fine. So we move on to the next point, or the next basic important terms. Next part is vouchers. So what are vouchers? You may have seen while you have went for shopping, like there are shopping vouchers. So likewise, what are vouchers? Vouchers are the evidence of transactions. Example, say you have seen while shopping a cash memo which the shopkeeper keeps, or a bill which he gives you, or an invoice. When you go for buying something, suppose in the supermarket or in some other market, they will give you a bill and they keep a xerox or a record with themselves also. So that is only the vouchers which they keep for themselves, like bill or invoice or cash memo, that these products are purchased at this date for this date, and they keep record of all the vouchers, all the transactions taking place. That means those are the evidence. Suppose there is an owner, but he doesn't sit in his business whole day alone. He goes to suppose another business. So how will he keep track of what is going on in his business or her business? By seeing the vouchers, and which will be recorded by his managers or say employees. Okay, fine. So this is vouchers. So next main important topic, one of the most important terms where many students get confused, that is debtors and creditors. What is the difference between debtors and creditors? So first is we will learn about debtors, or we can say them as trade debtors. So who are trade debtors? Trade debtors are who owes amount to the business. Or we can say the services are sold on credit. A debtor may be a person or maybe an organization too. Suppose this is an organization and this is an organization A and B. A gives B, suppose raw materials for say 25,000. B pays A 10,000 and tell him that 15,000 he will pay later. So for 15,000, B is the debtor of A for this amount, the leftover. That means somebody, your organization is A, and the organization to whom you are giving materials at credit. I have told you the concept of credit, and he pays the amount or promises to pay the amount in the future, the whole amount or the partly unpaid amount. That person is a debtor. That means who owes the amount to the business. That means the business will get the amount. So that is the debtors. But now we move to the next part. That is who are trade creditors. Trade creditors are those to whom this is just opposite debtors, to whom amount is owed. So what does that mean? It means that from whom goods and services purchased on credit. This is the reverse of debtors. Suppose A and B, you are A and this is the organization B. You are taking materials from B, what, 25,000, but you are paying just 10,000. So you owe to B 15,000. So your trade creditors. So he is here giving you credit. Hence he is your creditor or trade creditor to whom you owe 15,000. That means the business owes money to that organization or person. That person or organization is known as trade creditors. Very simple but very confusing. Trade debtors and trade creditors. Please remember, they may try to confuse you in the exam, in the MCQs, but be sure that creditors means from whom you have taken credit, and debtors means to whom you have given credit. Fine. This is simple concept, but interesting. So this was number 5, trade creditors. I hope you have got that. Please note down. Next term, very important. With this item we have to deal in whole of our life in accounts. That is number 6 point is assets. So what are assets? Assets are the economic resources of the firm, or we can say which give cash or benefit in future. That means assets are economic resources of the firm. We exploit resources. Likewise, the organization also exploits their assets for getting what? For getting cash or some other types of benefit in the future. That means assets are kept to get return in the future. Simple. Okay. So these are the resources of the firm. So we can now classify assets, as there are various types of assets and you must know each of them, because each have some distinguishing feature from each other. So first type of assets are fixed assets. Fixed assets, always remember one thing, they are not for resale. That means once purchased, those are kept by the concern for itself, not for others, not for resale. Those are fixed assets. That means with those which are fixed in nature. Okay. Now we can classify fixed assets into tangible fixed assets, and intangible fixed assets. What is the difference between tangible and intangible? Tangible means which can be touched. You can touch that. How you can touch it? Physically. Obviously, intangible would be the reverse. Cannot be touched physically. Example of tangible fixed assets, say suppose land, plant and machinery, building. These are examples of tangible fixed assets. So what are intangible fixed assets? Those which cannot be touched but are fixed in nature. Suppose example are patents. Can you touch patents? No. Then trademark. Every company has a trademark of its own. Like Coca-Cola company has their own. Goodwill. Goodwill means the reputation of the company or the business. Can you touch someone's reputation? No. So that is intangible fixed assets. So this is the difference between tangible fixed assets and intangible fixed assets. These are fixed assets. Remember one thing, these are not for resale. That means they are never to be sold. Fine. This is assets. Point 1. There are now other types of fixed assets too. Then the next part is, I hope we have got this. The inverse or the opposite, that is for resale. What is that type of assets which can be used for resale? Those are current assets. Current assets are what? They can be converted into cash in a short period of time. So, current assets are those assets which can be converted into cash in short period of time. Examples say debtors, bank balance. You can withdraw money anytime, or you can put the same back anytime. And suppose stock. So these are current assets, that is which can be converted into cash in a short period of time. Fine. Next is quite similar. This is current assets. I hope you have got that which can be converted into cash in a short period of time. Next come similar to this item is liquid assets. Liquid assets are also quite similar. They can be converted into cash in a short period of time. Same almost. So what are the examples? Cash in hand, bank balance, and fixed deposits, FD, which you know. So these are liquid assets. They can be converted into cash in a very shorter period of time. Likewise, the current assets. Fine. These are liquid assets. Next is, this is point number 3, and current assets was point number 2. I hope you have noted down this. Next is wasting assets. From the term you must have an idea. That means once wasted, it loses its value. So we can say that these assets having limited life and decrease in value by extraction. So this type of assets have very limited life. That means assets are resources, I have told you. So these are non-renewable resources. So once wasted, it's gone. It won't come back again. Non-renewable. So what is an example of non-renewable resource? That comes here is coal. Okay. Or suppose petroleum. So these are assets having limited life and they decrease in value once being extracted. Example, coal and petroleum. Fine. This was number 4. Wasting assets. The next assets is very important for your exam purpose. Many questions come from it. Number 5. So that is fictitious assets. Fictitious means, this term in simple meaning is imaginary. Imaginary. Fine. So what are these type of assets? Fictitious assets are not assets in true sense. Fine. In true sense, fictitious assets are not assets, but they are expenses and losses. We will come to know what are expenses and losses later on, but you have a brief or a basic idea, I hope, about what is expenses and losses, which could not be written off. at the end of each year we write off what is our profit or loss. But those which cannot be done so, those are fictitious assets. That means the expenses are the losses. Example, just very careful. These two are the best examples of fictitious assets. One is accumulated losses, and another is advertisement suspense. Fine. So fictitious assets are those assets which are imaginary in nature. It isn't there. But why they are recorded? Because this cannot be written off in a particular period, for a particular period of time. Another examples are accumulated losses. That means, say, suppose 2-3 years losses are being accumulated one after another, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000. So it comes to 90,000. So that is accumulated loss, not being recorded or written off. So we show that as fictitious assets. Or advertisement suspense. Like for advertisement we have spent some amount of money, but we are not sure how much. So that is big tricky, suspense, and hence these are fictitious assets. That means imaginary, assumption type of. Fine. Okay. Now assets portion is done. Now we come to liabilities. What are liabilities? Liabilities and the amount which the enterprise owes. That means to be paid by the enterprise. So that amount is the liabilities. Fine. So what are the various types of liabilities? Number first is internal liabilities. That means within the organization. So what are these liabilities? They are liability towards owners. Because we know that the owner and the business are two separate legal entities. In commerce we have read. So the business has the liabilities towards the owners. What is the liability? Example is the capital. We know this capital as owner's equity. That means the owner must be paid off a certain sum of money at the end of, say, a business cycle. The company owes him money because that owner has invested. An owner and the business are separate legal entity. Hence, that is a type of internal liabilities, like the capital. What is an example of, they give you an example, internal liability? So they give 4 options in MCQ. The correct answer would be capital is an internal liability. Fine. Next is external liabilities. What are these liabilities? These are liability towards that was owners because it was internal, and this is external, so it would be liability towards outsiders. So liability towards outsiders are external liabilities. Within these external liabilities there are 2 kinds of liabilities. What are those kinds? One is non-current liability, another is current liability. What is the difference between non-current and current liabilities? These are payable, say, in short period, but greater than 12 months. Greater than 12 months. These are to be paid. These are non-current liabilities. And these should be less than 12 months. These need to be paid back. This type of liability, that is current liability, and greater than 12 months means these are non-current liabilities. Fine. An example of non-current liability may be, suppose, a long-term loan which exceeds 1 year, and short-term liabilities might be, suppose, short-term loans. Very easy example. So these are the kinds of liabilities. Liabilities, first one was internal, second one was external. Under external is non-current liability greater than 12 months. Another is current liability which is less than 12 months, payable. Example is long-term loan, and here the example is short-term loan. Fine. Next, there is another kind of liability that is known as contingent liability. Again, very important for your exam purpose, and you should know what is contingent liability. I hope you have got this. Please pause and note down between the difference. Number third type of liability is contingent liability. What are these type of liabilities? These are potential liability. That means there is a potential that these liabilities might occur, but it may not also. So these are potential liability that may occur or not occur. An example, perfect example would be potential lawsuits. I will make you understand this point, what is lawsuit, and product warranties. So what is contingent liability? These are potential liability that may occur or might not occur. That means subject to condition. Potential lawsuit means somebody has filed a case against your company. If you win the case, you won't have to pay a penny. But if you lose the case, you have to pay that sum of money that the person who has filed the case and won the case has claimed on your account. So, on winning the case, you are not giving anything. On losing the case, you have to give a lot of money. That is uncertainty. So, that uncertainty is contingent liability. May be or may not be. So, that is the difference. And product warranties means, like you have seen many products, they give 1 year warranty. That means, suppose there is some wear and tear in your product, they might replace your product within the warranty period, or they might not replace, subject to condition that those points are not mentioned in terms of warranty. So example is product warranty, that is contingent liability, may not be or may be. Fine. So liabilities point ends here. Next come point number 8, or the 8th term. What is profit? Profit means, in profit and loss we have seen in math, it is excess of revenue over expenses. So there are various types of revenue. That means addition, incoming cash, and expense means outgoing cash. So incoming minus outgoing. That is the profit of the business. So there are various types of profit. Number one is gross profit. What is gross profit? I am giving you the formula. Gross profit means sales minus cost of goods sold. That means, suppose a product you have purchased for 40,000, you have incurred 10,000 for its maintenance, that is 50,000, but you have sold that product for 1 lakh. So 1 lakh minus not only the cost price but also the maintenance price. 40 plus 10, 1 lakh minus 50,000 is equal to 50,000 would be the gross profit. Fine. Next comes the formula, very important one. What is cost of goods sold? Cost of goods sold is equal to opening stock plus purchases plus direct expenses minus closing stock. So this is the formula of cost of goods sold. So see, not only the opening stock plus purchases plus direct expense, that means all the expense which the company has to forbear for the maintenance of the product, minus the closing stock. That means what is the value of the stock at the end of the year. So that is the cost of goods sold. Fine. Now, finally, this is gross profit. Next, there is what is net profit. It comes under profit only, but I am just cleaning it up. Net profit is the total revenue over direct and indirect expenses. So what is net profit? Net profit is the excess of total revenue over direct and indirect expenses. There are very two types of expenses, mainly direct and indirect. So the excess of this total revenue over the direct and indirect expenses is known as or termed as net profit. I hope you have been clear. There are two types of expenses. You see direct expenses and one is indirect expenses. Direct means directly related and indirect means in the course of the business some additional expenses are incurred which are not direct in nature or indirect expenses. Fine. So this is number 8. So now we have seen in this statement that revenue, expenses, this type of things are given. So we have learned now what is profit. We are going in a reverse way. First one must learn revenue, cost and all this. But I am teaching you loss, profit at the beginning, because from that formula you will get to understand a basic understanding of what is expenses, what is revenue and so on. So next is what is loss. loss is excess of revenue, sorry, excess of expenses, pardon, over total revenue. That means just the opposite of profit is loss. So this is, that means expenses are higher than the revenue. So that is loss. So now we will know, you must be very much interested in knowing what is this expense, loss, what is the difference between them. So now we will come to know what is the difference between them. Next is expenses. Expenses are the amount spent to purchase and sell goods and or services. Example, so this is expense. Expense means the amount spent to purchase and sell goods or services. That means I am suppose purchasing a good and then selling it off. But that selling price minus cost price is equal to profit, that's fine. But the expenses buck is outgoing for what is incoming as a product or service. So that is what is expenses. Expenses and loss means expenses you get something in return. Fine. And loss means what is gone. That means excess of expenses over revenue. But expenses means, that means you are getting something in return of what you are spending. Loss is not that. Loss is what you are not getting. That means the difference. Fine. So this is the amount spent to purchase and sell goods and services, like payment of salaries. Like to run a concern, you have to keep employees, and if you keep employees, you have to pay the salaries, you have to pay wages. So we can see now what is revenue and what is profit. So revenue is the amount received or receivable against sale of goods and services. Very easy. That is, say, suppose rent. In form of rent, we are receiving some income. So that is our revenue. In form of commission also, we receive some income. So that is our revenue. So income is basically the revenue. So how it is received? From sale of goods, basically, or services. And examples are rent and commission. So what are profit? Now again back to that same turn. What is income and profit are the same thing. And what is that? That is the difference between the revenue minus the expenses. That means cost price plus direct expenses plus purchases minus closing stock. That was cost of goods sold. And gross profit equals to sales minus cost of goods sold. Fine. Those are expenses. Expenses are various types, as we have discussed there. Direct expenses, indirect expenses. And revenue minus those expenses is the income or profit. Fine. Next is drawings. What is drawings? Drawings is amount of goods or assets taken away by the proprietor for, very important, for personal use. So what are drawings? Drawings are the amount of goods or assets which the proprietor, that means we invest the capital, they take away from the business for their personal purpose. Suppose they withdraw some cash from the bank and use it for personal purpose, say for holiday vacation or spending in some hotels or restaurants, but not related to business. So that amount is known as drawings, which is for the personal use of the proprietor. So this is the important, one of the important terms is drawings. That means those who invest the capital, they only do drawings. Next is as we were discussing, the next part is capital. What is capital? Capital is the claim of the owner or proprietor, as we may say. It is the owner's equity. That means they are investing money in the business and they should get back from the business, return. So the business owes them and they are separate legal entity, and hence this capital comes under the liability side because they are liable to pay the company to back to the owners. So these are owners equity, we may tell them. We have a formula for capital. Capital is the total of assets which we have discussed before minus the liabilities. This is the capital. Now comes one of the major definitions, two major definitions. What is credit or what is debit? So we will see that now. Debit is an accounting entry that increases asset or expenses or decreases liabilities or equity account. So in simple terms, it is an accounting entry, debit. So what does that mean, debit means? Debit means either it is an increase in asset or it is an increase in expenses, or it is decrease in liabilities or equity account, that means capital especially. So this is simple debit. Many people explain various things. This is the simplest definition probably I can give you. Increase in asset and expenses, decrease in liability and owner's equity. So what is credit? Credit is absolutely the opposite of debit. Credit is also an accounting entry. It decreases the assets and expenses and it increases the liabilities and equity account. So this is the absolute opposite of debit. This is also an accounting entry. It means this is decrease in assets or expenses, and there is an increase in liabilities or equity account. That is credit. Fine. Now we move to the next point. This was point number 60. Now, next is, what is expenditure? Expenditure can be of two types. One is capital and one is revenue. So the expenditures are of two types. One is capital and revenue. So here we see expenditure. Expenditures are of two types: capital expenditure and revenue expenditure. Capital expenditure are amounts spent on purchasing assets that will benefit over number of accounting periods. Suppose we purchase a machinery and we use it for 5 years. That means for 5 years it is giving us benefit over number of accounting periods. And revenue, that is charged as expenses. That is, it is a type of expenses, cost that is charged as expenses. It is the amount spent to purchase goods and services consumed during the accounting period. That means during the accounting period, goods and services are being purchased for that particular accounting year. The amount spent, those are revenue expenditure. So capital expenditure, there are various types of accounting periods, many accounting periods rather, and in revenue for that only that particular period, that is termed as expenditure. Now next term is bill of exchange. What is the bill of exchange? Which is a written order that binds one party to pay a fixed amount or a fixed sum of money to another party on demand or at predetermined rate. So what does that mean? It is a written order. Remember that. That means one party is giving this bill of exchange to another party. So that party who gets the bill of exchange, he can encash that going to another party. That means there is three parties, and that fixed sum of amount that party, the third party, is bound to give to the second party or the receivable party on demand or at a predetermined rate. Suppose the bill of exchange is declared after 3 months to be paid. So that third party must give that sum of money to the second party at the end of the 3 months. This is bill of exchange. 3-party transactions. In deal, one is giver, one is the taker, and one is the encasher for the second party. Fine. This is bill of exchange. This is point number 18. Please note it down very carefully. Next is investment. We all heard of this term investment. We have a brief idea. Now let's get into the details. So what is an investment? Investment is an asset purchase or amount placed in the bank to get return, or you can say to earn income. So what is investment? Investment is the asset purchased or the amount placed in the bank to earn income. That is what we know as investment. Next is another very important term. Please note it down. Balance sheet. So what is balance sheet? We will do that later on this chapter. Whole chapter is the trading account, profit and loss, balance sheet. So what is balance sheet? What does that involve? Balance sheet involves assets, liabilities, and equity. What does it show? It shows the financial position of the business. That means what is the condition of the business at present? It is a profitable concern or not? So balance sheet involves assets, liabilities and equity, and it also shows the financial position of the business at present. More perfect now. Fine. Next is bad debt. What is bad debt? Bad debt means gone case. That means amount not recoverable. We have sold goods on credit and the creditor to the debtor, and the debtor has become insolvent. Insolvent means we have died or we have suffered some injury, not in a condition to pay us back, or might be willingly they are not giving back the sum of money which we should get. So that is amount not received, recoverable. That is bad debt. What happens? It is a type of loss, and it is debited to profit and loss account. I have discussed that balance sheet, trading account, profit and loss account. There are various types of account which we will see in the future. So bad debt is a business loss and it is debited to profit and loss account. Fine. Next is what is entry. We will learn there are various types of entry: single entry, double entry, journal entry. But what is an entry? Just this is number 22. Entry is any event we have studied before, any event or transaction recorded in the books of accounts. So Entry are, what are the entries? Entries are the event or the transactions recorded in the books of account. Next is, what is receivables? Receivables, from the name you can get receivables. That means amount owed to the firm. That means the amount which the firm is to get from the debtors. That means receivables. Example, debtors, as I said, is receivable, and advances. That means receivable means amount owed to the firm, which is concept just like the debtor and creditor concept. So here the firm is enabled or be able to receive. Okay, must receive. Next is payables. This is short difference. That was amount owed to the firm. Receivables and payables just the opposite. Amount owed by the firm. That means the firm is to pay. To whom the firm is to pay? Opposite of creditors is debtors is creditors. That means from whom we have taken goods or services of credit, we will pay them in the future. That is payables, to be paid. And say suppose lenders, they are also a type of credit giving body. And the last for today, or the basic accounting terms, is depreciation. We have a whole chapter based on this, depreciation. So what is depreciation? Depreciation is the decrease in book value of assets over time due to wear and tear. That means over the time the book value of the assets decreases. Suppose I have purchased a machinery for 4 lakh at today's date, but that product lasted till will last for about 5 years. So every year 4 lakh divided by 5, that means 80,000 would be its reduction price, and that reduction price is known as depreciation. It happens why? Because of wear and tear. There are various types of, suppose the body, we face injuries over time, or we become fragile over time. Likewise the machinery also becomes like that. Over time, running continuously, so it faces some problem. So it has a term or life after which it stops functioning, like us. And hence, that is what is called depreciation, which happens over the year due to wear and tear. Fine. Our class ends here. Thank you very much.